And the reason I don't do them is nobody knows anything. I mean, we kind of know the best players, but I was not going to include a trade, and then I thought, wait a minute, I'm playing GM. So I believe the Chargers absolutely want to move back. They want to accumulate more picks. They've got more needs, and they think Jim's going to ace this draft because his excellence knowing personnel, Jim being Harbaugh. So here we go. I'm going to go 1 through 12. Fire away. The easiest slam dunk pick probably since Andrew Luck and Trevor Lawrence. Bears get Caleb Williams, the only franchise that's never had a 4,000-yard passer, which doesn't even sound right. How can you not have one 4,000-yard passer? All you need to know about this kid, 120 touchdowns and 14 picks in 3 years. He's a machine. He is the closest thing to Mahomes. There's nothing I don't like about him. He can sometimes lean into the spectacular. I don't care. Bears could use some spectacular. Caleb goes 1. I would take Jaden Daniels if I was Washington. I think he works with Cliff Kingsbury. It's a shaky O-line, shaky run game. He is an electric runner and a beautiful downfield thrower. He's the only player in SEC history. Now, here's the other advantage. Drake Maye played in a lousy conference. This kid played in the SEC and is the only SEC quarterback to have 40-plus touchdown passes and 10-plus rushing TDs in a season. Cam Newton played in this conference. Joe Burrow, Matt Stafford, the Mannings. This kid is a very unique talent. I think he's going to crush it here. I worry about little spindly. Wish he was bigger. No perfect players. So I've gone back and forth on this. I think I would go get Drake Maye. It's not going to be pretty. He'll probably sit until Thanksgiving behind Jacoby Brissett. But they had the worst scoring offense in the league. And do you want to go 3-13, 3-14? I'd get Drake Maye there. Next year's not a good quarterback draft. Also, he led the ACC in passing back-to-back years. I think you got to get him in-house. Worry about you can get receivers 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round. Also, when you're at the top of rounds, you can move back in any round and accumulate more picks. But there's not going to be Drake Maye in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th round, or perhaps next year. So I'd get Drake Maye. Inconsistency bothers me, but he does look like Justin Herbert. He's a big, strong kid that moves. Let's take him. I would take Marvin Harrison. Arizona's got picks. They've got a great quarterback, a running back I like, a tight end I like. This would be the best since DeAndre Hopkins, the best receiver since DeAndre Hopkins. I also think Harrison, along with Randy Moss and Calvin Johnson, is the best college receiver I've ever seen. I think he'll be a star, Rookie of the Year candidate year 1. He's not as fast as Randy Moss. Again, there are no perfect players in the league, all right? Randy bounced around a little. His temperament wasn't perfect for every coach or every team. I think Harrison's amazing. I think, I watched him. The minute he got hurt, they were going to beat Georgia. He got hurt, won the same team. And they had C.J. Stroud. Okay? I just think he's Ohio State has all 5-star receivers, and he stands out above all of them. So when you can stand out above the rest of those cats, you're pretty good. Okay, I'm going to make my one trade. I think the reason the Vikings got 2 picks was to move up, and I think the Chargers absolutely want to move down, but not too far down. I have the Vikings coming up to 5, the Chargers going back to 11, and I think they're going to take J.J. McCarthy, who is moving into a furnished apartment. The Vikings, he doesn't have to play. He can sit behind Darnold. They have the tall Sean McVay as a coach. Best young left tackle in football. Best receiver in football. Top 5 running back. Great number 2 receiver. Top 5 or 6 or 7 tight end. I think they have a good old line. It was like PFF top 12, 13. This is the furnished apartment in the NFL for a quarterback. They got everything. You don't even have to play for a year. I don't think J.J. McCarthy has a big-time arm. I don't think he has a big-time NFL body. Does Kirk Cousins? You can win a lot of games. And remember, because you get rid of Cousins' salary, you can add pieces. So you're going to get basically, I think, kind of a Kirk Cousins level prospect. I think he's a better player than Kirk was. But a Kirk Cousins without the salary. You can win a lot of games in this league doing that. The Giants, I think, would love to have gotten a quarterback, but I don't think they have the ability to move up and give up draft capital. They need players, and they solve a big issue. They get Malik Neighbors, the receiver from LSU. LSU's a receiver factory. This kid is big-time OBJ explosive. Listen, they need a lot of stuff. Now with Saquon Barkley, it's going to be bumpy. They're going to be back in the top 5 or 6 next year, but this kid is like jump off the TV fast. I mean, again, when you're at LSU and you're playing against Georgia's, Bama's, and all these SEC schools, and you turn on a TV, and it was this what I saw with Jamar Chase, and you're like, who's that guy? When you can stand out in the SEC, Marvin Harrison in the Big Ten outside of a Michigan, he's going to be better than everybody else, but this kid is special. By the way, the Giants, I think, were ranked 30th in yards after the catch. So they get no extra yards. Now you got rid of your star running back. You need yards after the catch, and this is what he provides. The Titans get Joe Alt, left tackle. Worst offensive line in the league. I don't know if Will Levis is going to work, but the only chance he's going to work is if he's not on his back. So they're going to get Joe Alt. I think Joe Alt's a very good prospect. He is not Trent Williams. He's not Jonathan Ogden. He's going to make a couple of Pro Bowls. He's very good. The people I talk to in the league think he's the best left tackle in a good class, but they don't think he quite has the ceiling of others. But you got to solve left tackle. I mean, if Will Levis is going to work, you got to give the kid a fair shot. You got to keep him upright. Falcons go with Dallas Turner, who was the best edge rusher in the SEC, and that's saying something. He was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Bama does edge rushers really well and receivers well. Listen, Saban loves him. Great player. He's not going to have as glossy a numbers as other weaker conferences. You got NFL offensive tackles in the SEC. He's a really good player. Remember when Will Anderson came out, people nitpicked? Yeah, he's been a really good player. And I love Atlanta's direction right now. The only thing, they haven't had a double-digit sack guy since like Vic Beasley. Atlanta doesn't have a ton of needs. I think Atlanta's going to win that division and very quickly is going to surprise people. I think the Bears are going to go get help on the edge with Jared Verse, who was a monster. He had 18 sacks the last couple of years at Florida State. He's great. And maybe this is a reach by 5 or 6 spots, but there's just not. The draft gives you 2 or 3 good edge rushers every year, and he's one of them. I don't buy they need another receiver. They got Keenan Allen, 2 good tight ends, nice back DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore. They don't need another receiver. They can get that in the 3rd, 4th, 5th rounds. A great receiver draft. You're not going to get an edge rusher anywhere in the draft if Dallas Turner's gone like this kid. Watched him play 3 or 4 times. Stands out on TV. Jumps out on TV. Big-time player. Montez Sweat. They got a great corner, Jalen Johnson. Now they have somebody to go with him. I think that's the pick. So I'm the Jets. I'm going to go with Rome Odunze, and here's why. He's very mature, ready to play. You get no ego with the kid. He's just a terrific player. I watched him play live. I saw him play 15 times. I just think he's a grown-up. Good routes. A little Devontae Adams. When you go to New York, it's noisy. This kid is all football, no nonsense, total grown-up, wants to be a football player, and I think with the Jets and their noise, he could go into New York City. Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams is talented but can't stay healthy. Generally speaking, Aaron Rodgers, Brady don't love young receivers, but this kid is like an old 23. He's going to walk in, be a really nice player, a real pro, and that's what the Jets need. Chargers in that trade with Minnesota, now at 11, get Talisi Fuanaga. He is the Oregon State right tackle. So they have Rashawn Slater at left tackle. He's the best run blocker in the draft. What does Jim Harbaugh want to create? A more run-dominant Baltimore Raven-like offense to let Herbert throw on play action. So this kid, I was told by somebody in the NFL, you can almost not find a single play from his college career where he didn't win on run-blocking assignments. He is the best run-blocking tackle probably since maybe a Tristan Wirfs, who went to Tampa and crushed at right tackle. Culture is everything to Harbaugh. This kid is a mauler. They'll have both tackles and Justin Herbert. I think Denver and Sean Payton, I think Bo Nix works for what they want to do. A lot of underneath stuff. stay on script, 61 college starts, 22-5 with Oregon. Is he going to move around a lot? No. There is some Drew Brees qualities. A lot of college starts, highly productive, very coachable, super accurate. Not going to run around, though. Like Brees early in his career, he can move. He is an excellent decision maker who at Oregon mostly stayed on script, lower ceiling, but I think he works with Sean Payton. I think what Sean wants to create is a ball control offense. He souped up the offensive line last year. He's got a running back he likes. I think Bo Nix is a fit. J.J. McCarthy, don't love him. I think he fits Minnesota. Bo Nix fits. Little bit of a reach. But I've said before, I'm willing to reach. I'm willing to do a little reaching. All right, let's bring in Rick Bucher as